Hey everybody, it's WB. I had a chance to get to the range today and I just had a quick little bit of information I wanted to share here. I've been really excited about this project and finally got a chance to do a little function check on it. So what we got here is the Mini Draco. I was so pleased with my full-size Draco that I thought this might be the next logical step towards the ultimate weapon. I still think my full-size Draco would probably be the go-to gun at this point, even though it is just a slight bit larger, maybe a tad bit heavier. But anyway, Draco ran fine, put 4 or 5 magazines through it. Um, and what we've got on here is the SLR Rifle Works handguard M-Lock variety. I believe this is the Ion, spelled I-O-N version of that. It's the Magville M-Lock version. We've got an SB tactical brace on it, and I believe this is a US machine gun adapter with the brace sits in. So again, everything ran fine. I had used a variety of magazines. I had one issue with the 20-round Tapco magazine. The first round didn't seat properly, but all the other rounds fed perfectly, and all the other magazines, no feeding issues whatsoever. Again, using a variety of steel and polymer magazines. So all that's good to go. Did have a couple of minor issues. Again, put 4 or 5 magazines through it, and what we're seeing here is the M-Lock rail on this side that we use for the sling mount and for the flashlight, if I can put my hands on it, came loose. So it looks like everything's moving here, so I believe it is the rail section itself that came loose. So we'll take a look at that. But more importantly, this is the main issue. If I can get this in frame here, the rear sight just completely came off. If I take the time to put together a shooting video with some edited footage, then I'll try to capture that actually when it happened, but basically just came right out of there. And I'm wondering if this is a problem with the Mini Dracos. Again, the full-size Draco is more of a standard production AK, at least from the receiver back. It does have a slightly shorter barrel, but this one has obviously the gas tube going on here. It doesn't run standard size AK furniture, and I'm not sure if there's differences regarding the rear sight leaf. It does appear that it is just a little bit smaller than some of the sights on some of the iron sights on my other AK varieties. But again, this thing popped right off. It had actually come off prior to that, just from running the charging handle, and I thought I had it back in there as tight. I know I had it back in there as tight as I could get it. If anybody's, but again, they'll usually stay in there. I've never had an AK that the rear sight would just randomly fall out like that. So not sure what to do about it. I have seen some smaller replacement sections where you have a piece of rail with some rear sights built into it. They look kind of questionable. They do have some lower mounted varieties of those. Those get fairly expensive. And then you've got the dust cover rail variety, but I didn't really want to spring for the funds to do that. However, I am pleased with the way it shoots, and that may make looking into that make a little bit more sense based on that. Again, the biggest problem, really the only problem at this point, is the rear sight. I have contacted Century, but this is one of those things where I don't know that it's really even worth the trouble of sending it back to them, going through all that hassle and the wait to get it back, not knowing if the same thing could happen again. This is a brand new gun, and the rear sight fell right out. So who's to say that even after they tinker around with it and claim to have fixed it, that it won't happen again. So again, may look at I believe Texas weapon system, if I remember correctly, had a dust cover rail system. But again, I didn't really want to spend another couple $100 into it. I'd like to find something more middle of the road, but I want it to be something that's reliable, because obviously this leaves a lot to be desired. But again, I may have some more information on this as it progresses. I may update it with whatever I replace the rear sight with. That's it. I just want to share that information. I'm not sure if it's a common thing with these Mini Dracos. I've talked to a few people, and nobody had ever really heard of anybody having that kind of problem before. So we'll just see how it progresses and see what we can do to switch it out. But I am liking this a lot. I still would probably grab my full-size Draco in a pinch, just thinking that it's a little bit more reliable. At least I know that the rear sight isn't likely to fall out of that one. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next video.